The late Felice Yeskel was one who inspired me. She, along with many other women in that area, really shook me up around my own sexism. Her work in terms of us understanding ourselves, intersectional selves, was inspirational. And I must admit, it wasn't something that I reflected on until much later. And I'm grateful I got to tell that to her before she died. I absolutely love working with youth. I feel incredibly privileged. I think our community is different from so many others when it comes to intergenerational conversation, that in many communities, the conversation is, what do you need to learn from me as a younger person? But in our community, queerness actually teaches up as well, so it goes up and down. I knew that my work was to give back, similar to how others and elders in the past, our queer ancestors, the path they laid for me, and to stay out of the way so that the young folks could also figure out what their path is. All we need to impart is our resiliency, to show that we thrive, survive, and are being, and that they can do that too. Not this, it will get better. It doesn't necessarily get better for everyone, but it does change, and you are you're in charge. You're the captain, general, however you want to use the language, of your destiny. Our role is to be visible and to tell stories about our experiences, not for the sake of saying this is what you should do to someone who's younger, but to say, here was my path, and some of this may help you a bit. I went around this block, here's what happened to me in that store, here's what happened to me on that corner, I'm not so sure. And to let folks know when some things are really clear, to say, you know, I wouldn't choose this particular path because a lot of people have gone down this path, either strategically or whatever, and they've not been successful. You may want to think of something different. We need to start speaking more openly about the current murders of our Black and brown trans femmes, particularly Black trans femmes. If we had gay men of any color being murdered at that rate, we would be in the streets every day. We'd be on television every day, and I don't see that. That's disgraceful. I believe that intersection is about our transphobia and our racism and our sense in not seeing ourselves in poor people and people who are on the street. Basic needs for students in general is challenging right now. And I'm talking about housing in the Bay Area is way too expensive. Food is too expensive. And so we have students that are going unhoused and hungry. We found a disproportionate number of these students who, with basic needs challenges, were queer and or trans students of color. We still have students who are being disowned. I literally just had an email about that 2 weeks ago. And mostly the folks who are being disowned are based on their gender identity. We still have a few based on being lesbian or gay, but those who are coming out as transgender or non-binary are being disowned or pushed away by their families, by their birth families. And it can happen very quickly. And so inclusion for them is quite challenging as well. And that throws them into basic needs, but it also throws them into crises of community as well. So we're in a place where we're really looking at this more intersectionally to talk about inclusion, so it doesn't just become, we sit on our laurels like, oh, we could get married now, or certain types of gay folks have inclusion. If we're not all included, then we're not there yet. So if one person isn't free, we're not all free, and so we all have to be free.